welcome to another episode of the Airtel Edge podcast. My name is Faisal PeyPar. I'll be your host for today. I think I'm impressing people.
Yeah.
So I have a guest with me here today, and that's Davis. I'll let him introduce himself in a bit. Actually, just introduce yourself now. Why are you waiting?
Hello, everyone. My name is Davis Mohwezi. I'm a licensed clinician of over 7 years of experience.
In what?
Basically, community health and clinical illnesses.
Wow. So we are actually going to be talking about men's health today. And I think until today, I actually just knew Davis as the social media guy. Like, if we want to do something social media-wise, I'm like, yeah, we'll call Davis. So when the team called me and told me, guys, we're going to talk about men's health and you're going to interview Davis, I'm like...
Yes, one thing you don't know about me is before I started the whole social media thing, I was doing work for a few hospitals in Kampala. But then the thing just exploded.
Yeah.
So right now I work for a number of facilities. I do work for Case Hospital.
Wow.
I do work for Sasi Medical Specialists. And I do work for Association of Anesthesiologists of Uganda. I've also done work for Uganda Heart Institute. So basically what I do is help hospitals communicate better. Yes.
And for those of you who don't know, this week is NCD week. That's non-communicable diseases. So these are diseases that can't be transmitted from person to person. They arise because of very many other different things. I'll let Davis talk about it later, but let's first tone down the pod. Because I feel like we've started on notch 10. So let's first come back to notch -10. How was your weekend?
My week was kawa. My weekend was good. I enjoyed it. It was a top tier weekend.
I asked about the weekend because I know your week wasn't kawa. You were shooting. I was making you work.
Wait, no. So my weekend was good. I had a variety of things I was doing. One of the health institutions I work for, they're celebrating World Anesthesia Week. So we've been going to gym, swimming, Zumba. So I spent the whole week in that. Yes.
In fact, so let me ask, because you are so much into health and all this, yeah? Do you drive?
Yes, I drive.
So do you keep condoms in your car?
No, I don't do that.
Do you keep condoms in your wallet?
No, I don't keep condoms in my wallet. Why don't I do that? Is because, first of all, the moment you keep a condom in your wallet, what if you sit on it? It decreases its efficiency.
What?
Yes.
Which science paper is that?
You can do some reading. Then also, if you put it in your car, what if you forget it in your car?
From experience.
Then also sexual hygiene. It's good to have condoms where you usually at. It's usually good to dictate where you're going to have sex from. You can't be having sex from everywhere, would you? No.
Man, I love all this because normally we wait until Men's Health Month to actually talk about all these things, but because, man, we're on the pod, let's just talk about it. Now, a while back, I actually asked the team and all my friends, so I asked them, but guys, if you're not married, because we know married people don't use condoms, they're married. It's a unit. But now for my people who are single, I actually found out, no, as opposed to back then, because at campus, I had condoms everywhere. I had condoms in my wallet, in my room, in my desk, at campus. Like they were everywhere, in dispensers, in literally everywhere. But right now, I don't know what happened. But all of a sudden it's no longer a thing. You'll actually be out and there's an emergency. The good kind of emergency.
Yes. I think the only places I've seen condoms right now it's at Uganda Golf Course. Yeah, there are stores, and also this place in Logogo, the MTN Arena. But it's rare to go to in another hotel and you find condoms in the bathroom.
First, you live in Uganda Golf Course. So I'm at Thrones. And the night that I thought was going to be a normal night turned out to be a spectacle. You know those nights. Yeah. So I would move around asking my boys, guys, I need a condom. Yeah, not for now, not for later, but I just need it, just in case, you know. And of all the 10 people I asked, no one actually had a condom on them. Yeah. So as we go for Men's Health Month, I want us to just throw a little bit more light on this, because men are definitely having sex out there. Yeah. But how how do we actually tell the people watching this pod out there to safeguard themselves? Because it's not a thing to move with condoms anymore. It's not a thing to put them in your car. It's not a thing to have them in your wallet because of all the reasons you've given. So how in the 21st century as a man, as we go into Men's Health Month, can you actually safeguard yourself from all these STDs around? Because remember, it's not just HIV. People think it's just HIV. It's not just HIV. There are all these other things, herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea. There are all these other big diseases you can actually get, and people don't care.
Okay. First of all, I just want to make a few points. Married people can also use condoms. They still use, especially there are some religions that don't allow contraceptives. So the only way of preventing is using condoms. Personal biases. I think sex should be in marriage, first of all. But that's a personal bias.
No, hold on. What you preach. Are you a virgin?
I'm going to bring it up. That's right. So what I want to say about sexual health. I think sex is a very important topic for men to talk about. It's usually a taboo for us guys to talk about sex with each other because you do not meet the expectations of the way you think sex would be like. I've had the challenge with men, especially men who watch pornography. Their expectations of how they're supposed to perform during sex is not the same with how they produce it. So you find that they find it difficult talking with other guys about that issue.
Yeah.
But since we're on this health podcast, I think we can talk about it. When it comes to sexual hygiene, as a man, you should have a few parameters, a few boundaries for yourself, first of all. Because, Faisal, I can't judge you the way you have sex, or I can't judge another man.
I can. Yes. But if you're tying people up.
No. But I'm saying if you can at least establish a few boundaries, it will help you avoid a few things. Medically, like how the government usually says, at least before you have sex with someone, first take them to a hospital and get checked up.
Yeah.
But let's be truthful. How often does that happen?
Me, I don't care. Even if I know your status, if I don't know you, bruh.
and you know, Faisal, the funny thing nowadays is that there's a government program where the government aims, it's called 95-95-95. So the government aims to make sure at least 95% of the people who are HIV positive have tested, 95% of those who have tested are on medication, and 95% of those who are on medication have a viral load that is basically untraceable, which means that I can have HIV and you take me to the hospital and you check me, but it will not show. The test will come out kawa. Then you go and sleep with me and I give you something. So before, it's good to have this knowledge that no matter how a girl looks or what, I won't tell you this story, but no matter how a girl looks like, please be careful. When I was at school in Mbale, the hospital, I saw this.
First, wait, you've just said Mbale. Don't just move away like it's a small thing. Yeah. We all know we all know the tales about Mbale ladies, yeah? Good things, man. Ma'am, that's why I have to die in Uganda. But continue.
Yeah, when I was at school, and I was practicing doing my internship at Mbale Regional Referral Hospital, I saw this lady. She was kawa, you know? She looked nice. Everything was working out. But as I was doing my work, a midwife called me and she was like, Davis, take this lady to the HIV clinic. You know? So the appearances of a person, even nowadays, even if you test them, it will not show. So it's important for you to know that, yes, I'm a man, I've gone out to test, but let me have a condom with me. Another thing I can say is that if a lady or a guy gets HIV now, some people it takes 6 months. So if you check her now and she's okay. It's not a guarantee that when you have live sex with her, she'll be kawa. Yes, you may in fact sleep with her, but her HIV will her or your HIV will show up
later.
Yes, 6 months later. So that's the conundrum we have. That's the dilemma we have now.
But in short, move with condoms.
In short, move with condoms and practice sexual hygiene.
Davis, next weekend when I ask you some condom, you better be having one, yeah?
Condoms are cheap. They're everywhere.
So I love the fact that we're having this conversation way earlier on. November is coming up. That's Men's Health Month. Although some of you only know it for what? Cutting beards, is it?
Yes, Movember. No, growing. You grow the beard. Yes,
Movember. Man, I've never had one, so it doesn't make sense.
I think mine is growing fairly well.
Well, the good thing is, November is my birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, 16th November, guys, if you're sending presents. So every time we are in this month, because you know how birthdays are treated in UG, you're supposed to go all out. But every time I'm in this month, I be seeing this rhetoric of men, please party responsibly, please do this, please. And I feel like that's why for a very long time I've managed to keep myself in the confines of safely enjoying my birthdays. But what other significance do such campaigns hold? Yeah, because not so many people know November is actually Men's Health Month. Yeah. So even when it happens, even when people are talking about it on the internet, most of the Ugandans I know are not on the internet. They're not even on the internet to find out. Yeah. So what exactly is, apart from the whole awareness bit, what exactly is the point of such engagements like, Health Month? I know right now we are in Breast Cancer Month, right? But I've spoken to some ladies at work and they don't know. They're not even aware. You see what I'm saying? So what other significance do these, months hold apart from brands coming out and pretending to care, putting out a poster and doing calling someone to speak to their staff or anything or any of that? What other significance is there?
Yeah, when it comes to men, I think we've done some work with Airtel, and right now Airtel is working with Buganda Kingdom, as far as my knowledge is, and the Kabaka is the goodwill ambassador for, is it the UN?
Yeah.
Yes. So basically, his message,
AIDS actually.
Yes, his message is men should take lead in disease prevention, especially HIV spread. So it shows that the world has recognized that men carry a huge role. Actually, the last report that came out about HIV spread showed that men are actually the ones spreading HIV to the women, and not vice versa.
Yeah.
So men play an integral role. So in my interactions with men, I've seen that men are very interested in health, but getting access to health is a bit difficult for men. Why? Because first of all, the way we take ourselves as men, you want to feel the most amount of pain before you get there.
Not me, man. Have you ever had a toothache?
I spent like three months with a toothache before I worked on it.
If the toothache, if I get a toothache right now, I'm leaving the pod. Like you guys are saying me tomorrow, because me and pain.
I've been doing some work for a health insurance company. I won't say his name. And Faisal, I can tell you, I think 90% of the leads we got for that health insurance company, they are men. And these men want to insure their families.
Yeah.
So it shows that there's this bias that men don't care about their health. But personally, I don't think it's not caring. I think men need a certain push to be able to access this. Because if that thing I did, if that campaign I went on showed that 90% are men, which shows men are really interested in health. Yeah. Then also, there are some diseases that are specific to men that no one talks, people talk about, but they are specific to men. And unfortunately, there isn't enough information prevailing in the atmosphere to get men really concerned about it.
Okay, yeah, you do have a point. And speaking of that, I'll actually, let me just share my experience away from those diseases that are just basically attacking men. There's this one time, and this is because we're in NCD Awareness Week.
Yeah.
So there's this one time I was about maybe 92 kilograms. Yeah.
How are you walking?
Bruh, I was gliding.
It's like having a bag of cement.
I was just gliding. And remember, I'm like 5'6", 6.5 around. Okay, 5'6". Let me not lie.
Do you play basketball?
5'6". Yeah.
Can you play basketball?
Unless I'm the ball.
Okay.
So as 5'6", and I realized, okay, at the time I didn't take notice, yeah, but you know how they talk about prostate health and prostate cancer and all that stuff. So in my mind, this is, I think, my early days of just after leaving campus. So in my mind, I'm like, let me first enjoy, because now I'm out of campus, I'm making some money. Let me just be around the ecosystem, as a man, yeah. And so a funny thing happened, yeah. I'd wake up in the morning. You know how, as a man, if you're normal, you're supposed to wake up at attention, yeah. If you get it, you get it.
If you don't get it, forget about it.
If you don't get it, change the pod. So I just started, like I would wake up and there's nothing, and I wouldn't even, I'd be like, oh, whatever. Yeah. So eventually, it started happening when I was with a girl or a babe. So we've been out, we've been partying, we've gone back home, everything is set, the mood is right. And you're trying to communicate to the guy to stand, and there's nothing. Like, it's like I was bewitched.
Yeah.
And now I believe why local people think I think sometimes it's witchcraft. Because do you know how you set the mood for everything and nothing is working apart from like you're just there like, okay, now we have to wait. And so the girl has to look at you and be like, but the hell, So I contacted, of course it was, I first talked to my mom about it.
Yeah.
I ain't going to go talk to a stranger about my business, yeah? And I think that's why most of us men are still behind. So I first talked to my mom about it. Thank God she's still alive. And the first thing she did is she laughed.
Yeah.
She's like, so you see, your weight is catching up with you. And I at that point in time, I didn't know being overweight could actually, affect your sexual health as well.
It does.
You get, because I thought, man, a lot of rich people are huge. They're overweight.
They do.
And they have no problem getting women. So I thought, man, if I'm overweight, I also won't have issues. But bruh.
But do they keep the women? That's the issue. That's the question.
So I went on a whole, gym and health regimen. I started working on my quads. I started working on my, thighs, the pelvic muscles, getting the blood there. And I must have lost about 10 to 12 kilograms. So to date, yeah. And when this whole NCD week came, it kind of reminded me of that situation back then when I was having issues with my prostate. And I went to, is it IMC, the diagnostic center? So high on confidence of, man, I've lost like 12 kgs. Now I can just turn on at will. Like I can just be seated there and I'm like, let me first try and see if it works. And it works. So that is how high in confidence I was. Yeah. So I go, they check my cholesterol, they check my pressure, they check my blood sugar, they do all these other tests, yeah. And at the diagnostic center, they told me they'd send my results the next day. So I just wanted my results there and then, yeah. So I go to a second place, and this is the Amicable Nutritionist. I go to a nutrition, like the first time ever visiting a nutritionist in my life. So I go to a nutritionist, and they take all their measurements, the waist. They're about maybe like 10 measurements they make. And at the end of the entire thing, I found out one, I'm obese. From my height, I still have to lose 10 more kilograms. You can imagine. That's one. Two, I am borderline hypertensive. Like I am almost getting high blood pressure. Yeah. And when the guy told me this, I just looked at all my aunties, all my uncles, the grands, everyone has high blood pressure. Everyone has high blood pressure.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even, that was a surprise, but not a surprise. I just asked myself, I should have known better. The only thing I was good at is diabetes, because my cholesterol is low. So I'm not yet there.
And your blood sugar is...
But what shocked me is I'm actually not 100% healthy. Yet I thought, because my prostate is now okay, I'm 100% what? Healthy. So talk about how that first step of men actually going to check and find out how they are doing is important. Because we are here, we're talking about men's health, we're talking about all these things. But if the month comes and you do nothing about it, you just make some tweets about it, but you actually don't go to test, it's really not going to help you know. At the moment, I have a diet plan. I have a detox plan. I used to see detox videos on TikTok and I thought, you guys are just making content. But it's real.
Yes. So detox is kind of a hot topic in the medical field, because most doctors believe the kidney and other organs are sufficient enough to detoxify you. However, that said, the nutritional benefits of detoxifying meals like smoothies, vegetable smoothies, which don't have sugar, are very enormous. They'll get you there. What I want to say about men, please go and test. Especially if you're above the age of 30, your metabolism is not, your vigor is not as strong as a guy below 20.
Basically, toina work.
No. Yeah. And you know, there's some things we ignore as men. And I get it. It's because we don't ignore them because we're careless. We ignore them because of Mbela ANC. I mean, you have to make money. So like you find that you wake up in the morning, you sit on your desk up to midnight. Today I was telling a friend, I want a day where I can wake up, sit on my desk at 4 and leave at midnight because I have so much work. But doing that puts a lot of strain on your body, even if you're sitting. So doing some exercises, first of all, it will lower your cholesterol. Cholesterol is a type of body fat. It's produced by the body itself, and at times you get it from food. So if you need to go and check that. I was watching a YouTube video where there was this guy, he used to sit all the time. Then he went and tested this testosterone, the male hormone. Yeah. And he found that it was way low. And the guy went to gym. So he started performing properly. Maybe even knew it was because of...
These NCDs, they have come for us.
Things like... People don't know this, but fat, you know, men produce that hormone called estrogen. It's in small quantities.
In small quantities, yeah.
Yeah, in small quantities. But unfortunately, it's very fat stores it in. So fat stores it. So you find that as a man, you're having undesirable amounts of estrogen that you need to deal with. Yeah, and so by losing your fat, losing weight, it's imperative. Then something I also want to say, like prostate cancer. Studies have shown that prostate cancer is very aggressive in men of black origin. That is us, Africans. Unfortunately, when you're reading online, you usually find American resources. But even when you get Ugandan resources, they'll show you that prostate cancer is very aggressive in men. And the CDC, those websites, WebMD say that men should start checking at 50. But here in Uganda, we advise at least by 45.
Bruh.
45?
Me, I was 28.
And you're... And it was showing. And you know, these tests are cheap.
Yeah.
They're so cheap. Like, most hospitals don't charge you for checking your weight. Yeah, your blood pressure. So as a man, I want to encourage all men out there. Please go and check your weight. Actually, it's called BMI, your body mass index. The ratio of your weight to your height.
Yeah.
Get a test called check your blood pressure, know where it is. this one people don't say it, but go and see an ophthalmologist and a dentist. Personally, I almost lost my eyes because I was taking some things for granted. But a number of men have eye issues. For them, they think they're seeing. Yeah, so go and then check your dental. Dental will save you a lot of money because an extraction right now is 100,000. But if you get it early and the dentist handles it with you, it will reduce your cost. Then the last thing I want to do, I want to say is that
I think there's diabetes as well. There's blood sugar. There's pressure. You've mentioned that, hypertension, and
all those things. Blood sugar. Check your. You can start with a complete blood count. It will help you see how your cells are doing. Then check your blood sugar to see what levels they're at. The good thing with blood sugar, in most cases, is easily reversible with diet. Yes. Then the other things which are not tests, but which we need to do, at least find a society of men you can talk to. Men usually like doing things alone, but at least get one person to talk to.
So in terms of some of the major health concerns men should look out for, we've talked about, some of the NCDs men should look out for. We've also talked about...
But when you say NCDs, maybe you define it for them.
Non-communicable diseases. So these are diseases like diabetes, hypertension, prostate cancer, respiratory tract infections as well. This whole point of you're out there just on nicotine and tobacco all the time, you should get that checked. And just cardiovascular diseases as well. So you may not know this, but your heart, after your jaw muscle, your heart is one of the strongest muscles in your body. So if your heart is misfiring, it's going to be a huge, huge problem. But one other major health concern men actually face today that we don't really talk about a lot, and this is also an NCD, is mental illness. Yeah. So I just want you to just give us a few tips that we should, as we are going into the Men's Health Month, some of the things we should take seriously in terms of mental health. What are those 3 or 4 pointers we should look out for?
Yeah. So Faisal, just to recap a bit, men experience mental health a bit differently than ladies. Ladies are more social, so you find that their issues they usually talk about them. So when an issue comes up for a lady, she usually has a support. The other day I was working with a guy who lost... the wife has been having a number of miscarriages. Now, the wife, when she had a number of miscarriages, she just went back home to the parents. But this guy stayed in the city because they have to eat. Yeah? They have like 2 children. They've been wanting to get another one. It's now like 5 years. So how does such a man handle that grief? Because that's your child. Like, you've been planning for them and expecting them. Yeah. So one thing I'll tell men is please seek counseling. You can go to your pastor, to your imam. You can go to a professional counselor, and you just pour your heart out and talk to someone. Yeah, I think that's the biggest tip I can give for men.
I don't know. I think for me, there's that, but then there's also this whole bit of, we think counseling is expensive. First of all, we think that's a white people issue.
Yeah. Men don't need therapy.
I kid you not, the first time I've ever did therapy was this year. And that's after going to the HR to ask, does insurance cover this? Like, I had to first overcome the whole bit of, fine, this is not a white people problem. And then I had to face that bit of, wait, how expensive is this?
Why getting therapy? Are you a Man U supporter?
Man, you guessed it. Okay. But I told you the issues I was having. So I actually thought therapy is expensive, and this is where insurance actually came in. So I think I've already talked a lot on this, but I want you to just tell us about, how, because there's so many men who are watching this that are in office, they have insurance, and the best thing they use it for is, I'm sick, I have flu, I have cough, I have what? headache. Yet there's a whole entire cover they could use for their mental health. Yeah. I don't know how, if you could just explain for us how it works in terms of Airtel when you have a cover with Liberty.
Okay. First of all, what I want to say is that if you don't have insurance, please get insurance. Especially Airtel gives you a lot of options. I had the privilege of working in an ICU during the COVID time. And I tell you, Faisal, most Ugandans can't afford healthcare. Even these Ugandans who drive good cars. You sell that car. It's so expensive. I think, was it the New Vision or the Daily Monitor? I don't remember well. Which wrote that government was spending 1.5 million on a patient in ICU.
Yeah.
And I think that was because they didn't want to raise more chaos, but an ICU is really, really, really expensive. Generally, healthcare. A friend of mine burst a lung and he paid 60 million in 5 days. Man, 60 million.
Bro, how do you burst a lung?
He was a smoker, then he stopped. But the effect stayed with him for like 10 years. Then after 10 years, the thing just... One day he coughed. He was in the bathroom. He coughed. The good thing, it was in a hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they just took him straight to the ICU. And
better be careful the way I cough.
Yeah. So having done some work with Airtel and having interacted with individuals from Airtel, you can get insurance through Liberty. First of all, you can pay it using Airtel money. Then you can get insurance through Liberty and other platforms. Then it will not drain your overall coverage. You go and you see a psychiatrist or a psychologist. You know there's a difference. You go and then, or you see a counselor, and they'll help you deal with the issue that's really affecting you. Because I can tell you the truth, some issues you cannot just man up to them. You need a lending hand. I was reading the other day that most men actually commit suicide more than women.
Yeah.
Though the studies showed that women have more suicidal thoughts
than men.
Yes, more suicidal thoughts and tendencies. But because women have this support and they easily go for counseling, they do not undertake suicide like men.
Oh, yeah. Oh wow. So, I mean, as we wrap up, it's been such a conversation. I was actually going to ask you to tell us how men can take charge of their health, but let me just reverse it and tell you how I am currently taking charge of my health. So for me, there's the backward way I used to think about health, which was I have malaria, I don't. I have a fever, I don't. That's the only thing I consider health, because those are the two things I've consistently probably been getting over life. But I learned that there's mental health, one, there's spiritual health, there's emotional health as well.
Yeah.
You know, there's financial health, and I think lifestyle too. So I'm not going to mention all of them, but this is how I'm doing it. One, spiritually, I am in sync. Like, I now realize how important it is to actually have something I believe in, something that is bigger than myself. So that I don't at any one point in time just sit there and start saying, life is unfair.
I'm alone in the universe.
Why am I the only person, not getting money? Yet there's a bigger plan to this, You just literally have to broaden your horizons. Also, the fact that I've learned to appreciate. Before, I would only look at my situation. Every time I wanted to complain, I'd only look at my situation. But now, before I even go online, I have to understand that, first of all, I'm privileged. I grew up in Kampala.
Yeah.
I have dreads. I had to drop it there. There are people who are having it way worse. So I fixed my spirituality bit. Then two was, my mental health as well. I did have, I'm not going to say, no, I don't think I've ever had suicidal thoughts. But I've ever had self-sabotaging thoughts of, I feel like I need to go to Nyege and first flip my life upside down, then come back and, start afresh again, because things are now boring. Yeah. And I now do therapy once in a while. let me just say like 3 times a year.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want people to call me out. So about 3 times a year, but that's how important therapy is. In that even those 3 times a year, it helps. You know, there's just a different lens this guy shows you and you're like, oh, wow. Yeah.
Okay. Gives you a different perspective.
Exactly. And my physical health now, I work out, I go to the gym, I wake up early, I make sure by 6 a.m. I'm up. I take water in the morning. I limit my sugars. I don't eat past 6 p.m. And I'm currently about to enter a diet, a serious diet that even has a detox plan. Yeah. The other thing is financial health. I'm saving more. Actually, the money I've saved this year is more than the money I have saved all my life.
Okay.
Like combine all the money I've saved before 2024. The money I've just saved this year is probably like 5 times more than all the money I've saved combined.
Okay. How much is it?
Neka, you might be facey, yeah. But I'm also regularly doing checks. Yeah. You see how they used to say, man, when you're going for an HIV test, you are shaking, you know, you are paranoid and all that, bruh. These days, it's a cup of tea for me because I have done it so many times. It no longer has that impact of my life is about to end. Also, I'm off the network. I'm now only on social media networks. The sexual network requires a bigger wallet. Yeah, so I'm off it at the moment. It's easier for me to just wake up one day and go do a test.
Don't go back.
Or go. Never say what? Never.
Don't go back.
Yeah. So I'm regularly checking for all these things, not just HIV, but I saw a nutrition to check out all my NCDs and see how it's standing. Yeah. And the one piece of advice I think I'll give men is just check. Like go check for something because you never know. I mean, I didn't know I could have pressure. I didn't know I was obese. I didn't know I should start, taking a bit more iron because I'm now starting to get white hair. The guy was like, man, you're 30, you're getting white hair. You need to change your diet. Yeah. So that's it from me.
Yeah, me, what I would tell men, I'll give you a few pointers that have worked for me. I started last year with 83 kgs. And man, I couldn't sleep well. I was, what? Like everything was not working out for me. So I read a book by Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules of Life. One of the things I picked out that has actually worked on my behalf is organize your room. At least, if everything else fails. Like, at least let your room be neat. Let your room be neat and your things organized as a man. Then also try as much as possible to keep time. It will save you a lot of heartache, and a lot of things. At least if your internal life is organized, because ultimately, Faisal, you cannot change people. You can only change yourself.
Definitely.
Then also, don't, like you said, don't try as much as possible not to eat anything past 6 p.m. Because of the way the body works. And then also, if you can limit the number of calories, that is sugar, especially the one you put in tea, and also get off margarine. If there's something I hate, it's margarine. Margarine is the closest thing to plastic that we eat.
I eat toast almost every Saturday and Sunday.
Man, margarine. If you read about margarine, you'll hate it. So, okay, you first you start with reading.
You already told me I'm not about to read about it now.
Yeah. Then the other thing is, man, talk to someone. Me personally, I find it hard talking to a fellow guy, but I've learned to associate myself. There are some gentlemen in my church that I speak to.
So you only talk to women?
No. To be nice.
Davis.
Then I want to bring And how did I do that?
Okay, I think that will be all, guys. It's been amazing. It's been a very important conversation today. We've spoken a lot about men's health. I hope we're ready for November. And for those of you watching this week, let me just remind you that it's NCD Awareness Week. These are non-communicable diseases.
Sorry, just the non-communicable.
Oh,
Yes.
how are they going to edit it out? Non-communicable diseases.
Yes.
My apologies. And get tested, find out about your health, find out about your body, experiment. And yeah, good luck. My name is Faisal PeyPar.
My name is Davis. It has been a pleasure.
Peace. Bye.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.